Hey, what's going on YouTube? Welcome to this week's episode of Tuesday Preppers, where we take a look at the in-game news for Final Fantasy Brave Exvius and see what kinds of content is coming out, talk about what kind of killers you might need to get ready for, how to gear for those trials, and then talk about where you can get those killers using content that's already in the game right now in the form of like trial rewards, challenges, TMRs, STMRs, that sort of thing. Usually we show a clear of how to go get something, and we're going to do that tonight. And you can see the team that we're going to use on this week's clear. See if you can't guess what it is that we're going to go after with this team. Maybe stick around and see if you're right, but see if you can't take a guess and see what we're going to go after. Let's go ahead and dive into the news, and we can see that we have some new content coming out. We have the collection of mana event coming out. So it starts out with this event here, but there's another one up here. Clash Wheels is basically being updated to include the mana units as Focus Plus units. We already knew that from the live stream. So the first real event that we're getting for this week is the collection of mana event to the mana tree. To the mana tree is your standard box summon event. Farming and stuff like that, and it's against the dragon worm, which is this guy right here. He's a dragon enemy. No weaknesses, no resistances. You can use all the breaks you want, whatever. It's just farming, right? But there are some actually pretty nice pieces of equipment in here for beginners. This fairy ring is defense and spirit 37. That's kind of whatever. Nullify spirit or poison and confusion. That's kind of good. But then this other thing, activate gemstone sparkle, is 15% evasion and 400 LB fill every turn. That's a pretty decent pickup for a free item for a new player. So like if you're just coming in because you're interested in the mana collab, this is a nice piece of equipment for a free piece of event gear. As is this Vidium dress. It is, attack and magic 95, defense 31, spirit 41. It's a piece of clothing, and it has 50% attack and magic, true double hand when you wear a weapon with two hands. Pretty solid, as is attack and magic 30% on again, free piece of gear. This is not a bad pickup. Clothes are pretty universally good. And this is free, so there you go. As for Soul Crown and Fairy Cloak, they're both kind of whatever. 5% resistance to everything, woo. 20% resistance to fire, water, wind, and earth, woo. Call home. Those are okay, but these two are both pretty good. I would say these are good pickups for a new player. And they obviously want you to bring mana units. There are really not very many of them that I know of. Off the top of my head, there are like 8 mana units. I happen to have 5 of them, so I've got a party of 5. So make sure you set up one of your mana units for a friend unit to help out your buddies. Whatever. Just gear them with Dragon Killer if you really want to go above and beyond. The other piece of content that's tied to mana is this one, the Revived Mana Fortress. Now this is a 3-stage fight against a demon, 2 demon enemies and a fairy enemy. It goes kind of demon, fairy, demon. We have the King Vampire and the Dark Lich. Those are both demons, and they have a 30% light weakness. The Dread Slime is a fairy with 30% dark resistance weakness. You can use all the breaks you want, but there was a mission in the Japanese version to bring only fire units. And if we're only supposed to bring fire units, this is going to be an absolute joke, because we have things like Hyo and Genesis with MP cards, and it's going to be a disaster, for them, like if we're allowed to bring whatever we want and bring fire units as the category, like we got this. This is going to be easy. So we're going to try and have some fun with this. I'm planning on bringing like NVA slime and, some support units to try and make it work. And we're going to see if we can't do this with slime on stream on Thursday night. So we'll kind of check that out on Thursday. But it's cool. Kind of just some EX stages. You get this power suit again, attack 74, boosted attack for the new unit Randy, LB damage, 500 attack. It's there. Definitely pick this up. This one, I know I usually say do these in like hope that you maybe get the unit someday. Since Randy is time limited, it's not as important unless you get Randy to get this. But it's still a 74 attack piece of clothing with LB damage 25% on it, so it's still there. But not as good if you don't have Randy. Hopefully you get them. You know, you video summons and whatnot, or if you're a fan of the series and you want Randy for that, there you go. The other piece of content that we know we're getting is the sealed tower. So this is part of season 4. We're going to get level 3 of the sealed tower. Now the bosses in here are dragons, insects, and stones. There is a 30% ice and earth amplify field for all fights, so bringing an ice team or an earth team are both good options. You can all the bosses have no weaknesses. You can use all the breaks you want. Excuse me, but you can only bring season 4 units. So you know, that's pretty limited, but the good news is that a lot of the season 4 units do work really well together, like Snovlinka, Ridar, Tulian, all do like triple bolting strike earth damage. So that works really well. Hopefully you've got a team that can put this together. This one does not seem to be as annoying as the previous 2 levels, because it doesn't have like the accuracy problems or things like that. You just got to bring a solid team and kind of gear for dragons, insects, and stones. So since we've got dragon enemies on the sealed tower and the farming event, I thought it would be useful for us to talk about you know, how to get some dragon killer. And we're going to go and demonstrate a clear with that tonight. Hopefully you guessed it. You know, we're going to go after Dark Dragon with that team I just showed you. We'll talk about the gear and stuff in just a second. Let's take a look at some killers you can get though. We'll start with Demon. This is primarily for the EX fight. You know, Crucifying Coercion from Scorn of Ashura, Quicksilver, Ega Blade, Darksteel Heavy Armor, Demon Killer Plus from Belphegor, Demon Eater Sense from Gloomwing, Mask of Ashura, Force Mysterian is 100% from Lunera, Shinstru Yukin from Tidebringer Kaito. Lots and lots of Demon Killer. There's so many good ones, and this is just like touching the surface, you know. But there are so many good things for Demon Killer out there. So definitely gearing for demons not gonna be that difficult. Insect is a little more tricky. Not quite so many options. You've got Death Machine for Insect Eater Sense, Insect Buster from Scorn of the Demon Chimera, Bug Killer Plus from Scorn of the Marching Beasts, Eagle Blade Killer Bow, Bug Killer Plus. You can get the recipe for that too from Gloomwing. Scanning Goggles you're going to see on the next list as well for Stone and Insect, so that's kind of cool. Purple and Black Battle Attire in Neovision Lastwell. Lots and lots of things. Not quite so many as Demon, but there are still a number of good options. Here's Stone Killer Plus from Stroper, very easy to do. Stone Eater Sense from Archeoavis, very, very easy to do. Darksteel Destroyer, Darksteel Heavy Armor. This is, you know, there was one of those for Demon as well. Weapon Specialist from Wild Rose Furion, Scanning Goggles, yay. Lots and lots of good things here. Stone Killer is a lot more common than Insect. Insect and Aquatic are kind of the 2 hardest ones to gear for. Stone's not so bad. But let's talk about Dragon. So Dragon, this is where we're going to spend a lot of our time tonight. So for magical Dragon Killer, you can do things like the Apollo Harp, Ashura's Rod, Dragon Killer Plus, in multiple sources, Dragon Eater Sense from the Octo Mammoth. But we're going to go after the Dragon Killer Plus, and theoretically also the recipes to make your own Dragon Killer Plus. But you can also do things like Holographic Transceiver, Draco Spike, Virtue Drake, Pluie Saber. Not great items, but they do exist. Physical Dragon Killer. You can go after Dark Lord from Scorn of the Sworn 8, Dragon Killer Plus, all this different stuff, right? Same as before, but then there's also Glacial Battle Guard, Last Guardian, Virtue Drake, Crimson Blood, Dragon Vanquisher, etc. So there's plenty there for Dragon. Dragon's pretty common, and this is by no means exhaustive. Excuse me, I'm very tired for some reason. I was yawning on stream, and now I'm yawning here. So, yeah, Dragon Killer, Stone Killer, Insect, and Fairy. Those are kind of the big ones that we have going on. Dragon, Demon, Insect, Stone, Fairy. 5 killers you need for this week. We're going to go get you some Dragon Killer right now, though. So, if you go into the Vortex, right here, and if you swipe over to Nemesis, and you're going to go to 12 Types Takedown, Dark Dragon is kind of one of the last ones that was released, and it's some would say kind of difficult depending on what units you have. There's like kind of cheesy strategies you can do, and then maybe like ones like this one that are maybe not so cheesy, but maybe take a few extra turns. This strategy will work for both difficulties. Honestly, the 340 to 460 is not a huge jump, only 120 difficulty. So we're going to go ahead and go with advanced. This is going to get you Dragon Killer Plus, Man-Eater Sense, and some other stuff as long as you do all missions. This clear will do all missions. But just bear in mind that the first difficulty also has a Dragon Killer Plus, a Dragon Killer materia. So this is going to get you a bunch too if you go ahead and go and do this as well. And then go in to do, go back to the Bahamut island and get the recipe for Dragon Killer Plus. You can make a bunch of Dragon Killer Pluses, and then you'll be good to go. So we're going to do the harder version though. Go ahead and get us a Dragon Killer Plus. Strategy Moogle tells us it's a dragon, obviously. Make sure to keep your fire resistance raised, keep your death resistance raised, counters magic attacks. You probably want to use physical attacks. Sounds good to me. And let's go ahead and dive into it. So we're not going to take a friend because we have a mission to do five units. And here is who we are going to take. So let's go put this camera up so you can see all the gear and our units. So our first unit is Rosa. Honestly, I only have Rosa wearing her bow and her TMR and STMR and her own vision card. So she's very stripped down in terms of her gear. Mine's EX2. You do not need her to be EX2, but mine is, just because I happen to have her at EX2. Doesn't really matter that much. Sylvie, similarly, only wearing TMR and STMR gear from Sylvie units. So she's got, 7-star Sylvie and Neovision Sylvie wearing her stuff, her own vision card, bunch of empty slots, both forms the same. There you go. Sylvie's doing Sylvie things. Abigail, wearing her own TMR and STMR and her own vision card. So not a whole lot here. She doesn't have a whole lot of gear, and that's okay. It's going to be all right. But where units do have a lot of gear is our 2 damage dealers. So Ramza, he's geared really, really well with all our Clash of Wills gear. He's got Dragon Killer and Chain Speed and all that stuff, right? So he's set for Dragon, LB, and True Double Hand in both forms. There you go. Dragon, LB, True Double Hand, Chain Speed, all that stuff. He's wearing a Rebels vision card. As soon as he gets to EX3, I'll give him his own vision card, but for now he's wearing this Rebels vision card. All right. And then Agrius is wearing, similar build, right? So True Double Hand, LB, Dragon Killer. She's got a Titus Garb for preemptive LB boost, and then just whatever we can give her to fill out the rest of the stuff. Okay, there you go. Dragon Killers and Earth Vision card, and we're set. So there's our team. Let's go ahead and dive into this clear and get you some Dragon Killer. Let's go ahead and pull up the actions so you can see what we're doing. And let's do it. Okay. So just to kind of get us started, Rosa is going to use her LB. Now, if you don't have her LB because yours is not EX2, that's okay. Just use like Protect Gun, Shell Gun, it's fine. We're going to use her LB because mine's EX2. There we go. Sylvie is going to use Fire Resistance buff from Elemental Petals, Burgeoning Defense, just to kind of, keep us going in case we get any hits. And then a Compassionate Knight, just to put up resistances to breaks and immunities and stuff like that. There we go. Abigail is going to just use her cover, which is going to boost our stats and keep us covering. Use Bar Raja to give everybody a 200% stat buff. I think it's 200%, right? 200% stat buff for 5 turns with mitigations and things like that. And then she's going to use Contingency Plan. That's going to give us evasion. So she's going to be like provoking and evading attacks. I mean, everybody's going to be dodging some stuff this first turn. There we go. Agrius is just going to Bursting Break, a Mercy I will not see done, and Pulverizing Strike. Ramza is going to just use like his I'm My Father's Son, and then Focus and Suppressive Sword, and we're just going to chain them together. We're not really buffed up yet, it's okay. Notice because of those Mirage stacks, we didn't take any damage. Boss has a lot of physical damage that first turn. The Mirage stacks got us through it. All right. Let all that auto casting happen. Sylvie's going to go ahead and take the lead here. She's going to use Paladin's Defense for more Mirage stacks. And then she's also going to do Gravel Egg. There we go. Just to do an Imbue for the party and Imperil for the boss and stuff like that. And then from there, she can just do a Clever Strike. Why not? Okay. Agrius and Ramza are just going to use their limit bursts here, just to put up like sword imperils and breaks and just all the things that their limit bursts do. Not even really chaining, just kind of doing a little bit of damage. It's fine. Rosa here is just going to go ahead and use Protect Against Shelga. Awesome. And Abigail, for lack of anything else that she really could do, is just going to use both of her breaks, and then Barfire Raja to fill Limit Burst. Very good. See, still not taking damage here. On this turn, we're going to set up to do a big burst on turn 3 and on turn 4 and on turn 5. To do that, Sylvie is going to use Earth Blessing. That's going to roll us up for turns 3, 4, and 5. And then she's going to just doesn't really need to do anything else here. She could use offense, why not? And then a Clever Strike, hey, it's a thing she could do. Ramza is going to use Elemental Burst, Earth, Fill Limit Burst, and Shout on Agrius. Agrius is going to Elemental Burst. A knight is oathbound to render aid, and those who live by deceit are the first to die by it. There we go. Now everybody's got their limit bursts here. Abigail's going to use her SLB, which is to put mitigation for the party and weapon imperils. And Rosa is going to double prayer. She's going to do Dragon Bane on Ramza and Agrius. Little bit of damage. Our first damage that we took the whole fight, Abigail ate 5,000 damage, which was like nothing. Okay. All right, now Rosa's going to go ahead and use her SLB. Paladin Sylvie's going to use her LB as well to get us all fully powered up, fully charged. Modifier buffs, LB damage buffs, stat buffs. Ramza's going to be sitting here in his shift form with a huge looking 22,000 attack. Agrius also looking good with 18,000 attack, and they're just going to chain their LBs together, and we're going to let them go first, and then Abigail's going to try and refill them back up. Now, the way we did this is that Sylvie's 100% amp is going to land on them on turn 5 after we get dispelled. That's why we did that. So let's go ahead and chain them up. Got a very nice variance roll there. That was really good. And then Abigail's going to try and fill them up. So, Barfire Raja. Here's the Dispel. And Sylvie has now re-imbued us with Earth, and we have a 100% Amplify, so we're good to go. Rosa is going to give us back our Dragon Killer buff. Very nice. Sylvie is going to buff up Ramza with I've Got Your Back, and then just use Clever Paladin Strike twice. Filling up LBs. We've got Abigail on standby in case we needed more Barfire Raja to fill us up, but otherwise we're good to go. And Agrius and Ramza can just do their thing. and take out the boss on turn 5. So we didn't have to worry about death. We didn't have to worry about massive fire damage or anything like that. There we have it, turn 5. Could this go faster? Yeah, if you had an Earth Imperil field, you could go, or Earth Amplify field, you could definitely go faster. But you know, us doing 20 billion is pretty good. In 5 turns, not too bad, considering the boss has, let's see here, how much health does the boss have? Considering he's got 17 billion health, we did that pretty well, I would say. And there you have it. So definitely go out there and get you some Dragon Killer. Go ahead and get you the Dragon Killer Plus recipes and make you some more Dragon Killers. You can gear yourself up pretty well for Dragon. You know, make sure you don't skimp on the Demon, though. You're gonna need some Demon later this week as well. But Dragon's gonna be useful for both the raid and the series, the Sealed Tower event. So definitely pick those up and then go and do that. We're gonna be doing the EX stages, for mana, and then the Sealed Tower are live on Twitch on Thursday night. So definitely come out and check that out if you've never done that before. We're gonna have a good time. Hopefully see if the teams that I have planned are gonna work out. I've actually already built my teams. I think with this being able to take fire units, this can be just kind of, we're going to try and have some fun with it. And then the Sealed Tower is going to be obviously very limited to what you can take, because it's locked to those category units for Season 4. So it is what it is. You could say it's sealed to Season 4. But in the meantime, we're going to have some fun with that on Thursday over on Twitch, so please come check us out. And we're done for right now. So you guys be good to each other, take care, and go get you all the Demon, Dragon, Stone, Insect, and Fairy Killer that you can get your hands on so you can get ready for this week's stuff. Take care.